Hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of our JustNoMil. In today's episode, am I wrong for being upset? Emil was having a party while I was fighting for my life in the hospital. I don't know if it belongs here, but some hilarity for your day.
Paing Mil.
Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Am I wrong for being upset? Emil was having a party while I was fighting for my life in the hospital. Throwaway because my partner knows my main and I don't want to embarrass him. My Emil planned a giant, over-the-top birthday party for herself. About a week before the party, I started getting really sick. I caught a regular stomach bug, but because I have a pre-existing condition with my GI system, I was really seriously taken out. I was unable to even get out for bed for a week, and was unable to keep down even water for 3 days. I felt bad leaving my partner and going to the hospital, so I downplayed how bad it was until I passed out and had to call 911. I ended up in the hospital with dehydration so severe that my organs were shutting down. They actually had to code me at one point and I almost died. Emil sent one generic, "Get well soon" text and then did not check in on me and did not check in on her son, who also had the stomach bug and was solo caregiving for our toddler. He actually went to her house while I was in the hospital in hopes that she would help with kiddo and he could try and get some extra rest to be able to recover, but apparently she didn't, citing that she needed to do things for the party and/or the party was happening. Other than my own friends visiting, I'm not from the US to be able to have family here easily. I was alone the entire time I was in the hospital because my partner couldn't visit due to having to care for kiddo, and Emil didn't even so much as FaceTime me. On one hand, I would feel horrible about all of the wasted food and money if she canceled her party. On the other hand, I can't imagine just pretending my son and daughter-in-law didn't exist during their time of need and enjoying myself at a party. I feel like we had an okay relationship before this, but now I feel like it's broken, and there's really no coming back from that. This happened a couple of months ago, and I can't bring myself to feel the way about her that I used to. I feel like she's a fair weather Emil now. I truly almost died, and she was nowhere to be found. No, you're not wrong. While I don't necessarily think Emil should have canceled the party, I do think she acted in an uncaring and selfish way. She could have easily supported your family and shown she cared throughout your stay by doing the things you mentioned in your post, or a raft of other things. Did she cook meals for you guys to eat or freeze? Offer to run errands? Send a hospital care package or flowers? These are pretty simple and standard things. At this stage, I'd be at least matching her energy in the relationship. You now know how much time and effort to send her way going forward. Agree with the advice to match her energy from now on. If your Emil ever ends up in the hospital, you don't need to do anything helpful, but do make sure you don't forget to text her "Get well soon" at least once a week. Considering that she had planned this party before you were even sick, then you downplaying it, I don't blame her for going ahead with her party. I do think after the party, it would have been nice of her to help out your husband in caring for your child. I mean, honestly, if you weren't living near her, who would have been there to do the things you were complaining about her not doing? To me, this says that you need to have some plans in place to deal with situations like this and not rely on your Emil to do it all the time. To me, the issue is that Emil gave you none of her time when you needed her. Yes, she had plans and obligations that took up her time. She didn't have to give up all the time she spent preparing for her party. All she had to do was visit once or twice, or sit with her grandson for an afternoon or 3. She could even hire a sitter to be in her home with her and grandson, if she absolutely needed to work on party planning. I don't think she was obligated to give up the party itself. I don't know if it belongs here, but some hilarity for your day. Don't know if this fits here, but funny as hell anyway. So I got sick and couldn't work, so Emil moved in to help. Help me physically and just kinda watch me. I'll heal, but it will take time. She's been here since Easter. She has her own apartment in our basement. I had an appointment yesterday and she said, "Oh, I thought that was Monday?" Yeah, this is a different appointment. So I went on and came back. She asked later how my doctor's appointment went. I said, well, it wasn't a doctor's appointment. Now she's a bit nosy. We have a good relationship, but I'm trying to cohabitate with keeping our privacy. She said, oh, what appointment was it? I thought for a minute and told her the truth. I want to get my ass waxed. You did what? I got my ass waxed. Dead silence. If you don't want to know, don't ask. A few days before the wedding, my MIL told me about how she'd gone on an all-soup diet to fit in the dress she was wearing. I have no idea why. The dress was made of stretch velvet, and I was like, okay. Couldn't figure out why she was telling me. So then she was like, what have you been doing to fit into your dress? All coy and simpering. I looked her in the eye and said, I bought a dress that fits. OMG, this reminds me of when my MIL was nosing through our house once when we were not home. She asked me in front of family members, what's the hooks in the bedroom ceiling for? I deadass looked her right in the face and said, all I can tell you is, they're not for plants. Embarrassed the hell out of her.
Paing mil.
Just looking for honest feedback here. I've had a complicated relationship with my MIL since 2021 when my daughter was born. The week before my due date, we had a major water leak at our house. Had to turn off all the water and eventually repipe. MIL said we could stay with her while we figured out the plumbing issue. That is until my then 40-year-old BIL had a tantrum and convinced her we were not being safe with COVID. I was pregnant, so I was pretty fanatical about all the guidelines. And she kicked us out knowing we did not have running water at our home. Fast forward to today, and financially DH and I are in a good spot, and BIL has boomeranged back to MIL's house because he is unemployed. Today, MIL asked to house sit for us during an upcoming trip for payment, so she can then give that money to BIL. We do need someone to house sit, but how to feel. On one hand, it's not that much money. On the other hand, I feel uneasy about funding people who were like, get a hotel, the week before giving birth. Just looking for honest thoughts on the situation. PHX. Tell her and no, she is not owed an explanation. Keeps her and BIL out of your house. In fairness, I wouldn't have her to house sit for you. My reasoning is that wherever Mil goes, Bill is rarely far behind. When you needed Mil, she really wasn't there for you. I'd either pay a professional house sitter and say, oh, that is such a pity. We've already arranged for a house sitter to come and the fees are not refundable, so we'd be out money again. Or see if a friend wants to visit the area for a short break, and you could say that you've arranged for them to stay so you won't need Mil to stay in the house for you. Usually you would only have someone to house sit for you if you're going away for a considerable length of time. But if it's only a couple of weeks, it might be easier to leave a key with a trusted neighbor and let local law enforcement know that you'll be out of town for a few weeks in case anything happens, and just leave the place unattended. Tell her no. With the new baby, you're worried she isn't following COVID safety protocol and that it's dangerous for your baby and you just can't risk it. I would not allow her to house sit. Today she does it because BIL is not working and needs money. What about next week or month? She will keep coming to you and do things to earn money, but it is the BIL that needs a job to earn money instead. So, MIL says, please pay me to pretend to house sit so I can give the money to your deadbeat brother. What she really wants is to get away from him for a while when you are gone, then pay her for doing nothing, so she can give him money she obviously doesn't have. I have to say, this is one of the most creative family con jobs I have ever encountered. Tell MIL no, and have all of your locks changed before you leave on vacation. If she has access to your home when you aren't there, she is likely to find things you don't really need and pawn them to get money for the deadbeat or just give them to him outright. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we will see you in the next video.